Good afternoon, Northwest, and welcome to the November edition of Husky Headlines. I'm Nathan Fortune.
And I'm Allie Brenneman. Hey Nathan, you're involved in headlines, obviously, but are you involved in any other activities?
Well, actually I am. I'm in theater, political science club.
Did I ask? You know what people are asking for? More funding. That's exactly what the Parent Booster Club is trying to achieve with the Denim and Diamonds Gala this weekend.
For the first time in several years, the Parent Booster Club is putting on a fundraising auction. This year, it's called the Denim and Diamonds Gala and will feature a wide variety of items up for auction.
The idea came from my father. Actually, 20 years ago, we did this very fundraiser in our hometown to benefit the hospital, and everybody had a great time at it. So we thought we would try to recreate that for the school.
You know, we envisioned a really great night out for parents as a way for them to get to know each other and have fun together. So it will be all of those things, and we'll be making money. There will be a silent auction happening throughout the gala, and it will be all done with a mobile bidding platform. So people that go to the event will be bidding on their phones, but people who aren't able to be there can still bid from their phones. We have several items that are great for students: senior parking spots, VIP seats at basketball games, special parking for football games, special VIP tickets to the spring musical. So those are things that students, you should tell your parents to go and sign up and bid for those items.
The money raised from the gala will go back to all the activities participating.
We don't have the funding from our district to be able to function at a high level for all our activities at Northwest and basically all our activities in the entire school district, so it's needed. We try to fundraise ourselves. Sometimes that's very successful, sometimes it isn't. But like I said, at this point in time, every program needs any type of funding they can get. Our budget right now doesn't even cover basically our entry fees into all the different meets that we have, so that could also help.
The parents behind the gala hope that all the activities in need of funds will be able to get them from the event.
Understanding how different everyone is and how they need different things, and then seeing how the Parent Booster Club supports every activity and club up there is our hope for the gala, that we can reach all the groups and make sure that everybody has what they need. There's nothing too small or too big that we wouldn't consider, and we just hope to have enough money this year to reach all those goals.
There are just a bunch of parents around here that want Blue Valley Northwest to be the best school that it can be. I think we see our students, we see our children working so hard and making great things happen, and we just want, absolutely the best for them. But it requires some people that really have a lot of, passion and time and energy to make it happen. So it was brought back with the idea that it would be a great way to raise money for the Parent Booster Club. Of course, we want to raise as much money as we possibly can for the school, but we want parents to have fun so that they will continue to be involved and do the things that need to be done to continue to make this school as great as it can be.
Those interested in participating in the gala via the online bidding program should check their student email for a message from the Parent Booster Club about signing up. This is Aaron Tribby and Allie Brenneman for Husky Headlines.
Hey Nathan, what would you buy with $186 million?
Well, I'd pay off my student loans.
Nathan, you're still in high school. What would you do with the rest?
The rest?
The district has a plan for a $186 million bond, which will be voted on in January.
The Blue Valley School District hopes to pass a $186 million bond measure in January of 2020 that would pay for building updates, security features, curriculum additions, and technology improvements across the district.
A bond is generally akin to a line of credit. Like we have a house, sometimes you extend a line of credit on the home to make repairs and improvements to that home. A line of credit, a bond issue, is much the same way. We ask voters for permission to spend X amount of dollars, and they give us permission to do that, and then we go out and make those improvements to our schools.
If the bond passes, Northwest will be seeing many changes throughout the school.
Blue Valley Northwest will be getting classroom door locks improvements, things around technology and safety improvement. Also, we'll be getting such things like we have a fairly significant technology part of this bond issue, and so that's going to allow our students to continue to be refreshed on the technology they use on a day-to-day basis.
Do I think it's good that the bond includes safety features? I do think it's important. Unfortunately, safety costs a lot of money. It's beneficial to have interior classroom door locks because it saves time. Right now, some of our locks require a teacher to secure the door from the outside. With the new locks, they'll be able to stay in their room with the door closed, and all they need to do is flip a switch. It's that simple.
Along with security updates, there are other changes being made to the building, including the addition of a new gym.
A new gym, another auxiliary gym, would be beneficial to athletics because when you look particularly during like the winter months when we're hosting boys, girls basketball, wrestling, there are a lot of teams trying to find access to the gyms for practices, games. You know, we're very fortunate in that we have a full complement of teams in both boys and girls basketball. So when you have 9 or 10 individual teams and then you have a couple, you know, varsity and JV wrestling, and then you're also wanting to get dance and cheer and those other groups into the gym as well, it can be a real challenge.
You know, this is a no tax rate increase. Our board is committed to the fact that we will not increase the tax rate on these bonds for the life of these bonds. You are looking at a situation where that tax rate will remain consistent over the 20-year period that these bonds will be paid back on, and getting something for a no tax rate increase I think is a pretty good deal. This is a fantastic opportunity for our community to continue to reinvest in the Blue Valley School District. Our studies will show that this is the primary way that communities continue to grow and thrive, by showing support for public education. And this is that one time where parents can come together, voters can come together and say education is a crucial thing in the school district, in this area, to continue to keep our property values high, continue to keep new job formation coming in, to make a great learning experience for our kids.
Anyone that is registered to vote will be able to fill out the mail-in ballot that will be sent out on January 8th. This is Nick Swiden and Melanie Wilkins for Husky Headlines.
Melanie tells us about a junior who recently received a Make-A-Wish she will never forget.
After being diagnosed with a rare condition called mucopolysaccharidosis type 6, junior Aaron Fitzgerald manages to have a normal life while living with this life-threatening disease.
It's called MPS 6. It's a genetic disorder that affects your enzymes so they don't work properly. Sugars build up in your body, and then over time it causes organ issues or joint problems. Just it varies between person.
We were devastated. It was a condition we'd never heard of. We didn't know anything about it. It was frightening. It was very difficult for all of us.
It's constantly on my mind, and so it definitely, like at school, I'll have trouble focusing, and a lot of my friends don't know about it, and so it's something that I worry about.
The diagnosis has since impacted their lives greatly, but Fitzgerald and her family stay positive through the hardships.
Aaron's condition has definitely affected all of us. We have a weekly infusion we go through. Aaron missed a lot of school to begin with because we had to do it down at the hospital, and now we do it at home with the nurse. But it takes about 5 hours. It's a complication with our jobs because we got to make sure we can be home. We have to do it every week, so we have to schedule around that. We have to schedule vacations around it. So it's definitely affected us, but we try, when the infusion's over, we try to put it behind us and look forward to the week until we have to do it again.
There's so many unknowns. You never know what the next day might hold, and so just staying positive and thinking about like the big picture of things and not focusing on like one bad day.
After having her name submitted to the Make-A-Wish Foundation by her family, Fitzgerald was granted a Make-A-Wish in August.
The purpose behind Make-A-Wish is to give you a break from your medical problems, and it's supposed to be just a time to get away and relax and enjoy each other as a family. They really want to support the whole family. It's not just one person, they support everyone. So we're excited to be together and just go out and have fun for a whole week.
The one that I ultimately decided on was to go to Iceland, and that was mostly based on, it was something that my whole family could do together. This has been a challenge for all of us and not just myself, and so it was something that we could all enjoy together and just be together as a family. The trip was really fun. It was amazing. My family and I all went together and we just did a lot of sightseeing, and it was just something that you don't really see ever in Kansas. It was a time that we could just be all together. It's something that like gave me motivation to like keep going, so it was just something really positive.
Thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Fitzgerald was able to get the experience of a lifetime and gain encouragement while she lives with her condition. This is Melanie Wilkins and Ian Graham for Husky Headlines.
And now for this month's edition of Top 10.
Good afternoon, Northwest. I'm Jay Oaks, and this is this month's edition of Top 10 Plays. At number 10, we have senior Evan Ronaldo dragging defenders into the end zone to score a touchdown versus Bishop Miege. At number 9, we have sophomore Drew Mason finishing 9th in the EKL meet to advance to regionals on October 26th. At number 8, we have senior Jake Dolish making a one-handed catch from sophomore Mikey Pauley for Shawnee Mission Northwest on the Huskies playoff game. At number 7, we have the boys soccer team scoring 2 goals for Shawnee Mission East in the regional game. The first goal was scored by sophomore Chris Colley, and the second was followed by junior Will Bankrum. They would go on to lose 3-2 in overtime. At number 6, we have junior Maddie Clark scoring on a spike off of a set from senior Cameron Hahn and their sub-state match versus Blue Valley. Number 5, we have the boys soccer team scoring 6 goals in the regional game versus Olathe South, led by sophomore Chris Colley's hat trick. The Huskies would go on to win the game 6-1. At number 4, we have sophomore Mikey Pauley scoring 5 touchdowns versus Blue Valley North. 3 were passing and 2 were rushing. Both of the passing touchdowns were caught by Evan Ronaldo. The Huskies would go on to beat the Mustangs 33-28. At number 3, we have junior Carolyn Thurlby finishing 11th in the cross-country state meet at Rimrock on November 2nd. At number 2, we have senior Beth Schneiderson earning a medal, finishing 12th at the Golf State Tournament in Hutchinson. It was her 3rd straight trip. At number 1, we have senior Alyssa Pinarix winning state in singles. Her teammates Emily Chasen and Rhea Desai finished 6th in doubles to help lead the Huskies to a 4th place finish in state. This was Jay Oaks with the help of Max Smith bringing you this month's edition of Top 10 Plays.
Hey, Allie, when's the last time you went running?
I'm not sure I've ever done that.
You know who has been doing that this semester? The girls' cross-country team. Seth tells us more.
With Caroline Thurlby, Cecilia Fisher, and Riley Beach finishing 8th, 13th, and 16th at EKL respectively, the girls' cross-country team are starting to implement a foundation for the many bright years to come.
Going into this season, I think I had really high expectations and hopes for the team, and I know Coach Frazier did as well. We came off of a really strong season last year, and we had a lot of participation in summer workouts, and just the team was a lot more cohesive than it has been in the past, and we were all just working together and making each other a lot better. So I knew from the first day of practice we were going to do some really big things this year. Then at the league meet last week, I think we all really saw what we were supposed to do, and that was the first time really as a team we came together and showed everyone around us that, hey, we're made of a lot more than you were expecting.
A lot of the prep to this season had to do with, obviously there's the physical prep, but really what I was a lot more interested in with them was just getting them mentally prepared. Knowing that we were losing one of our big leaders, especially on the girls' side.
Yeah, they've made a lot of progress. In particular, in the last month, we've noticed their times drop quite a bit. They've worked hard the entire off season and season, so I'm not really surprised that they're having some success now. But they're a young group. It's pretty exciting. I think we're getting 6 out of the top 7 back next year, and we want to see, what they can do at regionals and states.
With Beach out with an injury for regionals, the girls' cross-country team still managed to place 4th, behind individual performances by Thurlby, who finished 8th, Brooke Krieger finishing 14th, and Fisher finishing 17th. With these finishes, Thurlby qualified for state and finished 11th overall. Despite their performance, the team knows they need to work on the skills that matter most.
The most important thing about our team is something that Frazier started to implement, and I think it's going to help us the most in the future, is we're not only a team, but we're a program, and we're establishing this program that's going to continue to benefit runners for years on and start almost a legacy of success. Coach Frazier's done a really good job to emphasize that, so we're not establishing just a good team for 1 year like a lot of teams typically are. We're establishing a program that's going to be successful for a really long time, and hopefully that'll help us grow the program even more and be more inclusive to all the students at Northwest.
On the girls' side, it's been a very, very exciting year. There have been a ton of improvements from a group that has just, completely bought into the process of getting better, of chopping wood and carrying water, of doing the little things right. And we've seen a lot of evidence of that intentionality on race day. So they were definitely moving into the cross-country season very hungry and very excited, because they saw what happened when one of their leaders, trained very hard in the off season to get ready for track. She was able to get a scholarship at it. For them, they knew that a good summer was going to lead to big things in the fall. A lot of the things that I tried to get them to do, was not only just be more consistent with that summer training, but be a little bit more intentional.
The girls' cross-country team is hopeful for the future of their program. The team's 6 returning varsity runners hope to improve after their 3rd place performance at EKL and qualifying for state. This is Seth Williams and Nick Swiden giving you the rundown on this story for Husky Headlines.
Next, Seth tells us about a student who participates in multiple races across the Kansas City area despite her disability.
Cecilia Neiman, a Northwest freshman, has cerebral palsy. When you see her, you're immediately drawn to her chair, but if you ask her friends and family, it's her personality that keeps you engaged. Despite the challenges she faces, she continues to thrive in everyday life.
Cerebral palsy is when you have a brain injury. And so her brain doesn't tell her muscles, just the communication is not there. She may want to get up and run, but her muscles aren't doing what they need to, so she can do that. Cecilia was born 3 months premature, so she only weighed 1 pound 12 ounces. She ended up getting an infection from being in the hospital, and so that caused her to develop cerebral palsy because she was so sick her body was shutting down. She wasn't getting enough oxygen to her brain. Home life is interesting. I think she wishes she was out and about more like a typical kid in high school. I think she's pretty much like most teenagers. She most of the time thinks I'm kind of a pain.
She normally stays in her room and doesn't like to talk to us, but she will come to dinner and she talks all the time at dinner and will interrupt us all.
Cecilia is a really just sociable, fun-loving girl that her smile brightens any room that she comes into, and she just has a great way of drawing people in and getting everyone in the group involved and working together, and I love that about her. So when Cecilia's in class, we work really hard to get her actively involved with whatever we're doing. That might mean that we're using switches or just different adaptations so she can be as independent as possible. So sometimes it takes just a little more problem solving or setup. But the other great thing about having Cecilia in class is that there's always lots of friends that really want to work with Cecilia and help us make those adaptations and modifications so she can move her arms and participate and learn alongside everyone in our classroom.
Looks are often deceiving. However, Neiman runs triathlons, 5Ks, and half marathons.
We started doing road races. I think she was around 12 months old. I started running her once she was about 6 months old, when she was okay to be in the jogging stroller.
Lucy and Mom will pull and push her through triathlons. I've ran her 5 races this year.
I have done a lot of races with Celia. I have no idea how many.
She's kind of come out of her shell. She's usually pretty shy. She's been very lucky to have people that have had a lot of patience with her. She laughs at their jokes and she says 1 or 3 word phrases, but usually has a pretty sarcastic sense of humor.
Most of the time they'll say that they don't talk or they don't have much of a personality, but she very much has a personality.
Doing the races that she's teaching people that just because somebody has a disability like hers and is in a wheelchair and may seem quiet, doesn't have lots of words, doesn't talk in big, huge conversations, that she still is a person inside with dreams and can achieve things.
Neiman will continue to run races with her family in the coming year. This is Seth Williams and Aaron Trivy for Husky Headlines.
This month, I took a look at a program where Northwest students go to Harmony Elementary School to help students with a different set of skills. Every block day, several Northwest students in the Gifted program, who go by the name Husky Helpers, use their outstanding STEM skills to help elementary school students.
It was started by Tim Park and Preston Williams kind of helped with it, and I was friends with them, so I just kind of wanted to join with them and just see what they did, and I just thought it was really rewarding what they did, so I just wanted to continue what they started. Currently what I do is I go to a couple classrooms at Harmony Elementary, tutoring a few kids that may have some trouble with the teacher or just have trouble learning from a teacher. So I provide them a fresh perspective on how to approach what they're learning in class, and they're more comfortable working at a high school student because they know that I went through the same thing they did more recently than the teacher did. So they're more comfortable around me, and I just provide that mentorship towards them and act as and be their friend as they do that.
The helpers' presence at the school has positively impacted the classroom environment as a whole.
I think the benefit is the kids they build relationships with these older students. They look forward to them because they're not teachers, but they're adults in their minds. And they get to have that bond with these students.
The ways that he gave me strategies, I remember them in my head. And if I remember that problem and I remember the strategy, then I can use that to help me.
It allows the students to learn something that they weren't able to grasp ahead of time, and we're able to provide them with that one aha moment. And for us being Husky Helpers, it's just really rewarding to see those kids have their face glow up and they realize they understand a problem.
He is just gives one-on-one time with you, and he's not teaching it to the whole entire class.
I'd love for them to keep coming here and to go into more classes in the building. The kids look forward to them every single week they come in, and they notice when they're not here. I think it's just a great program that Blue Valley has for those kids to make connections with those older students.
The Husky Helpers hope to continue assisting the students at the elementary school by providing a new perspective and making bonds with the younger students. This is Allie Brenneman and Jay Oakes teaching you about this story for Husky Headlines.
To honor Veterans Day this week, we brought in people with different perspectives on the topic to talk about the importance of this holiday.
I joined the military late in life. I joined age 45. It was, at the time, it was 2005, and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq were ongoing. I always knew I was going to serve in the military because my family had always been involved with the military. My dad was Army Air Corps during World War II.
I would say I had a really great childhood. Probably offered my brother and I a lot of different opportunities. Being military brats, it forced me to learn about people and to really value people for who they are.
My first deployment was 2007. All the kids were under the age of 5. And then, in fact, during that first deployment, our youngest, William, was born while I was away.
There were quite a few times where my family was separated due to deployments, and that was pretty hard on the whole entire family. Hard on my mom because she had to do a lot of the day-to-day, responsibilities of being a parent.
The first couple times we didn't really know how to help out my mom as much, so it was basically just my mom on her own. And we were like acting normal, so it was pretty tough on her.
For me, when he's deployed, that just means that I have to kind of step up more and drive around my 3 younger brothers and help my mom out more, because it's just a time of a little bit of stress at the beginning, but we get in a routine by the end of it.
Even though you can talk with your family and Skype with them, just not being able to be there on a day-to-day basis, it's tough.
Looking back, he missed a lot of holidays, a lot of birthdays. He missed my first communion. There were times where he couldn't come back for family members who had passed away.
I know that he thinks it's important because it's something that helps out and helps the people back home.
He's trying to help out his country in one way possible, and this is how he thought he could do it best.
I think that it's so important to celebrate Veterans Day because our servicemen and women dedicate their lives to serving our country.
They have to give up some relationships with their family and ones closest to them so they can serve our country and help out. I think we should just make sure that we celebrate Veterans Day so the people who help out know that they are well respected in their country for what they do.
It's important to recognize the sacrifice that families go through to realize that it's not just the service member who's serving, but also their spouses, their kids, their parents.
Thank those who have served. Just a simple thank you for your service goes a long way.
And that's it for our November show.
Have a great day, Northwest.